Howdy peeps, and welcome back to the channel. And as a follow-up from previous week's video about my rod fishing tackle, today we're looking at my pole fishing tackle. There is a serious difference between the two. So first of all, we're looking at the seat box. Very important for pole fishing. Obviously various different compartments, adjustable legs. You can attach all sorts of doofries to, so that one would have held my umbrella or something like. Those two were the actual pole hooks for holding the pole. Yes, one under, one over, because you only got maybe a few inches of pole sticking out this end and about 40 feet sticking out this end, so it does tend to tip forward. Pole holder, butt holder in the seat as well, just to make life a little easier. The ties I used to use for tying everything to the crossbar of my bike. And we'll start in the top. Now I've not really looked in here, I just dragged this out, so this is as much of an adventure as it is for me as it is for you, so let's have a look. Well, that tin of cat food's been in there several years, so we'll does it have a best before date on it? Let's see. 2nd of the 12th, focus shoot. Yeah, 2nd of December 2015, not 12th of February, 2nd of December. We do our dates the right way around in the UK. So in the top is where you generally store all your pre-tied and pre-made pole float rigs. It's a bit of a mess because I probably haven't tidied it since I last went fishing, and as we saw in the previous video, much like with hook links, but in this case all the shots on the line, the hooks on the line, hook link, everything's ready just to attach to the end of the pole. There's one that looks like it got fairly smashed by a carp because I was doing something silly and fishing floating baits with a pole. And as you can see, we have a couple of boxes full of ready rigs, different sizes, weights, types of float, different types of bristle, different lines, weights, all that kind of stuff. More in here. Let's open this one up. So many ready to go. So the little short chunky dibber float at the end for fishing very shallow with a relatively heavy bait, because you're supporting the weight of the bait with the float. Whereas some of the others, such as that bristle for example, is not going to support the weight of anything, because these floats are so sensitive to weight that, yeah, you have to be super careful. They're super delicate, super easy to break, etc. So if we go around the side for the first draw, if it will come out. The side one is a full width drawer, not a lot in it. We have bits of a lighter, some marker gum for whipping things together, or for just whipping onto the line to let you know what depth you should be fishing at as you sort of play around with the depths. Full of empty winders, as you can see, which the rigs go on. But as you can see, I've written on there the main line breaking strain, the hook link breaking strain, the size hook, and the weight. That one for some reason I haven't bothered with. Not that one. Oh, there's a hook. So again, very important for pole fishing, as with rod fishing or with anything with a float. Little lead, well, that was tungsten, but plumb it, put the line through, hook into the cork in the bottom, slide the float up and down the line to find the right depth. And we have pole cups. What you do is, that was the end of your pole, stick the pole through there, hook the elastic through the loop on the other side. Make sure that was in shot sharp, that might help. So if that's the end of your pole, it goes in there, the elastic loops through to the hook on the other side and holds a little pot on the end of your pole, which is what you put your loose feed in. So you basically drop your bait directly over where you're fishing. The whole thing with a pole is the precision of the presentation, as it were. Get back in there. Ugh. And all the drawers are magnets. They've got magnets on the back so they stay put. In here we have weights, 8, 9, 10 and 11. These ones are lead, but they're below the weight limit weights. Tungsten Olivet weights, which slide directly over the line. You just need a shot either side to hold them in place. And this is where the small hooks went. Again, another magnetic hook box, so they don't go all over the place, they stay where you put them. And obviously the size of the drawers are lined with foam. What's in this one? Oh, here's some lead shot, a couple of fake maggots, and some of the lines that we use. So we have £3, £4 and £6 line, but they're the high-tech pre-stretched blah blah blah, so they're extra thin. I mean, yeah, talking human hair thin. They don't take very much abuse, but fish can't see them at all. In here, those are for use with the top kit of your pole. Hold the two parts together when you're in storage. Number 4 shot. And pole float rubbers, silicone, so they're what goes over the stem and the bristle. And yes, just a bunch of fake maggots in there. I hope they're fake anyway. Let me know if it smells real bad, will you? This is probably where it's going to smell bad, because the bottom is where I used to store my bait. So whole lid hinges up, he says, hoping it's not going to tip over bass backwards. There we go. Right, so teeny tiny little Slingshot Catapult. You might think that looks pathetic sharp. Why didn't you get a man-size one? Well, pole's only 40 foot long, or 44, something like that. So that's the furthest distance you got to catapult anything. And when it's light bait, you don't have to worry about it. What do we have here? Ah, that's where my good reel went. Bait pole sock. I know you're wondering, what the heck is that for? No, it's not a net to catch in land fishing. This attaches to a bank stick, like so, and is used so that when you ship the pole back and break it down, when you're playing on fish or just bringing the pole in, obviously you have to break it down because you don't want to be handling 40 odd feet of pole when you've only got 6 feet of line on the end. So you pass it back over another bank stick with a roller on it, so it literally rolls through the V, and then you stick the front end in that in front of you. What else do we got in here? We've got some baits, magic marbles, crab flavour boilies, krill flavour band pellets for pellet banding, and we have krill and mussel mini boilies, and we have JP's pellets from Maruki, yes, soft hooker pellets, hook pellets, not that kind of hooker. Don't demonetize me for using that word, YouTube. I'm not even going to be able to get the lids off. In again, different sizes, and they're green, so they're algae flavour. We have spray on bait flavour, cherry flavour. We have squirt on bait smoke flavour and raspberry. What that one does is it's basically a thick goo that obviously is water soluble and gradually basically it leaves a plume of smoke in the water. And we've got a couple of other flavours. We've got creamy banana, we've got strawberry flavour, these are just liquids, spare disgorger, and a thankfully empty bait box. Phew, because that could have been stinky. And what else we got? Let's say the reel. I have no idea why I got a reel in here, but it might have been from the last, actually yeah, given the date, it might have been from the last time I went to Centre Parks. So yeah, we have a, is that a map ACS? Yes. So again, reel made of carbon, aluminium spool, clip lock so that you can lock it up, but if a fish pulls, it will pull the line out of the lock. Also has the bait runner function, which at the time was fairly rare on a reel this size. Rear drag, so again with the bait runner, that's the standard drag. Click the bait runner on and no tension whatsoever, so that's how that works again. But there we go. Now as I say, pole fishing is completely different to rod fishing, and this is probably going to collapse if I try and do it one-handed, so I'll leave it. Completely different approach, completely different method, style. Takes quite a bit of getting used to, but once you do it's very enjoyable. And in part 3 of this little looking at my fishing gear series, I'll get the rods and poles out and set them up, and we'll have a look through, see what the rods and poles I've got, what they're used for and how they work in the case of the poles. So stay tuned for that if you found this remotely interesting. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget the old like, comment, subscribe. Any questions or comments, stick them down there somewhere in the doobly-doo. Enjoy your hobbies. Peace out. Rock on. Bye bye.